Hi, welcome back. I'm Brandon, and I'm here again with Ben Metcalf, and we're continuing our dissection of the Friday the 13th series. And now we're going to talk about Friday the 13th, Part 2.
All right.
So you started off, Ben. What did you think about this one?
Well, Friday the 13th, too, I will say so far, is not my favorite. And in this one, to set the stage, Alice is the final girl from the previous movie. She wakes up in the hospital. She's gone back to what appears to be a regular life from what things appear to be. And we start this movie off with her getting a screwdriver through the side of her head, through some unseen assailant. And apparently, whoever this unseen assailant is, he also cut off some poor kid's head that just happened to be in the area. And, poor kid. But that's fine. That's kind of an aside that happens right before the credits. But that's what happens to Alice from the previous movie. She's done for. No more Alice. The premise of this movie is that we are in a camp that's right next door to Camp Crystal Lake. This is a couple of months after what happened in the first movie. Just a couple of months. Pretty crazy. And this is a training camp for camp counselors. So camp counselors come to this camp to learn how to be camp counselors at different camps. Campity camp. There you go. That's the premise of this one. And in my opinion, it's not my favorite. How about you, Brandon?
I really like it,
Yeah.
but when in my earlier years, like when I first became a fan of the series and I watched them all a lot of many times, I didn't like it that much. This is kind of the one I'd watch the later ones like four times. Every one time I'd watch this, and I just didn't like it that much.
Yeah.
But it has grown on me, especially as I've become a filmmaker myself.
Hmm.
I started to notice like it is very well directed. Like
Huh.
it's just the way things are staged. It's almost like one time it just kind of like something clicked in my mind where I was like, this is like well staged, it's well shot, it's well edited. And then once I started paying attention to that, I'm like, holy crap, this is like so much better than the first one in terms of the way things are staged. And there's a lot of cool parts in it. The guy getting a machete to the head in the wheelchair and rolling down.
Yeah.
It has some cool kills. Of course, this one Jason doesn't have his mask yet. He's got a potato sack on his head with one
Right.
eye hole, which is just kind of weird. They're also in the first one, they're which is kind of weird. Like in the later ones, there's no hiding the fact that the killer's Jason. You see
Yeah.
him there the whole time. In the earlier ones, like definitely the first two, kind of the third one, not really the fourth one. I guess not at all the fourth one, but there it's a mystery of who the killer is. So all you see is like a guy in a you don't even see him for like a lot of the first kills.
Yeah.
You don't actually see him till later on. But they're kind of hinting like maybe this is the boy Jason, maybe he grew up, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so they're trying to make it look like a mystery who the killer is, which was an important aspect of earlier slasher movies. They don't really do that so much. Well, I guess they do it a bit in the Scream series,
Hmm.
but like in the Freddy Krueger movies, you know Freddy's the killer. There's no mistaking who it might be. You just see him doing it.
Hmm.
But in this one, it was still a bit of a mystery.
Right.
And they talk a lot about the legend of the boy, Jason in the lake. Ginny is telling everyone, like, maybe he's out there. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're crazy or whatever. Of course, it turns out to be true. And you learn a bit more about him and the relationship with his mother. And he has her severed head
Yeah.
um, in there. And I will say, though, that opening scene is my least favorite thing in the entire series. I hate it. Every time I watch it, I skip it because it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It's like so she moved away back to some other town, and then
Mhm.
Jason somehow found out where she lived, and
Yeah.
then walked for hours to find her house to kill her. It doesn't make sense.
Jason the Forest Boy with no experience in the in civilized society managed to get out there with a burlap sack with one eye hole over his head and get into her house and kill her and then get back to Camp Crystal Lake. You
Yeah,
got to be
like
kidding me.
how did he use like GPS to track her down? Like he didn't even have a telephone, let alone internet. That was
Yeah.
like 1981. It just the only other explanation was it wasn't Jason. It was just some other killer, which is just equally ridiculous.
Michael Myers. It was Michael Myers.
So I just chalk it up to that whole thing was her dream sequence
Okay.
because she was traumatized. So she just imagined that she was killed, and that's how I basically just
Yeah,
pretend
you
that
know
didn't
what?
exist.
I figured that there must be so many of the final girls survive that there must be, and they're all from the same area. This is all in the same area. Is there a mental hospital somewhere where all the final girls that survive Jason Voorhees attacks go to recover afterwards? Because they're all carted off to the loony bin after they're done, right?
They're funny that you mention it. If I remember correctly, the story I think for part two was going to be what turned into the story for part five, where they're at a home. It's a home for troubled youth, but that was going to be um, Ginny is traumatized. She goes to this mental hospital,
Mhm.
and Jason somehow goes there, and it all takes place there. They ended up because whatever reason that Adrienne King, the actress, didn't want to play, or sorry, Alice didn't want to
Mhm.
be in the full movie. Something happened, so they scrapped that. But then they revived it for part five, but changed it to Tommy Jarvis, and kind of took a
Yeah,
different turn. But yeah, now that you mention it, there does have to be a lot of traumatized people around around that Camp Crystal Lake.
definitely. Another interesting thing about this one, yes, like you said, Jason is a regular guy in this one. He can be kicked in the nuts in this one. He can be stopped via one swift shot to the nards. He does run after people in this one too, which is something that he doesn't continue for very long afterwards. He does in number three as well. He runs, but he doesn't run after that. Running's done. The severed head shrine to Pamela, very interesting. They ended up using that as a major plot point in the Nintendo game for Friday the 13th, which came out probably this year, maybe the next year after, maybe a couple years after this one. Very interesting, though, that's one of the plot points that they chose to include in that game, the Jason Mother Severed Head Shrine.
Yeah,
Another
I've
thing I
never
noticed
played
about
that
that
game.
shed, though.
What's that?
Another thing I noticed about his shed, though, when he goes into that shack,
What's that?
when the cop is investigating it, there's no tank on the toilet, so thank God he's not trying to use that toilet because that toilet was pretty clean. So
Oh, damn! I never noticed that. I also noticed it seems like when you see the outside of that shed, there's no way that it could be the same inside of that shed.
no,
Like it looks like if from the outside, it looks like you could touch all four walls standing in one
yeah,
place, and then you go in and there's like multiple rooms and
yeah.
doors, and
There's a whole
I was like,
shrine,
okay,
there's a bathroom, there's everything.
yeah. And I'm surprised that Jason was just able to build his own house. I mean, it's not beautiful, but I mean, it's
Hmm.
functional. Keeps the rain out, I guess. So,
I got the
but
idea that it was one of the cabins that was just covered in metal afterwards.
that could very well be. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that could be too. And it's kind of funny that, like in this one, we kind of see that angle of it. That Jason's kind of some mountain man guy that lives in this little, rundown shed kind of thing.
Hmm.
And they never really touch on that again. From then on, you never see any hint of his home life, so to speak.
No.
He just pops up, kills someone, and then vanishes into the night.
Yeah.
This one, it seems like they still didn't know where they were going yet, so they were kind of like, well, here's Jason, and so the first two kind of are just kind of weird. I think the third one is when we really start. It's like now he has the hockey mask. Now he's starting to become what we know as Jason. So part two, it is kind of a weird one that doesn't quite
Yeah.
fit with the rest, but it has some decent kills in it, and
Hmm.
I find that if I find there's a lot. I find it like it's a funner movie to watch than part one. Like there's just more exciting. There's
Yeah.
more stuff happening. I think it's a superior film in its own way.
There's more people for sure. And something that I noticed with this one is usually in the Friday the 13th movies, the annoying guy gets killed pretty early. In this one, the annoying guy survives the whole thing because he wasn't
Yeah,
even there.
yeah, yeah. There's a whole bunch of them. I wonder if they hired all these actors and then they're like, oh crap, we don't have the money to do that many kills.
Yeah.
So they have like a group of them go to the bar. They're like, hey, let's go to the bar, and some people are like, yeah, we don't feel like it. We're gonna stay here. So the ones that go to the bar survive. They're at
Hmm.
the bar the whole movie, and the ones that stay at the camp get killed. But yeah, that really super annoying, weird looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he survives. But yeah,
Well,
there's like four or five of them that just survive. Which I guess in a way, it's like I think I mentioned this in our Nightmare on Elm Street one, where if every single character dies, it takes
yeah.
away some of the suspense because you just know they're going to die. if sometimes some of them live, some of them don't, then you don't know what's going to happen in any situation. But yeah, that is weird that the annoying guy, the one that
Yeah.
you would probably most want to see get killed, survives.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because that annoying guy has his shirt off at one point in time, and that guy is skinny guy shredded. Oh my God. I couldn't even believe it. It was like the muscle, the guy's got muscles on top of muscles on top of muscles, and he's one of the most annoying characters in the series for sure.
Yeah, he's. I don't know if he's ever been in anything else, but he definitely has a look to him. He's just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Now they make it look like Jason has killed a dog in this one. And I was all ready in my notes to say Kane Hodder's got it wrong. Jason kills dogs too, but he didn't kill the dog in the end. Spoilers for an almost 50-year-old movie. At
Yeah,
least somebody else's dog got killed.
it was. I know people are very touchy about it,
Hmm.
and even in I'm Haunted, the found footage movie I made, in the director's cut, there's a part where her dog. We don't see her dog get killed, but her dog
Yeah,
does get killed, and yeah, some people had a big problem with that. So yeah, in Friday the 13th 2, one of the characters comes across a dead dog,
yeah,
and it's meant to look, oh, this is the cute little poodle or whatever that
yeah,
was, Pomeranian that we saw earlier. But then at the end of the movie, the real dog comes back. So I guess that was either some dog that was killed by animals, or it was
yeah.
some, it was like a rat or
I think
something, or a
that
raccoon.
dog probably got the gnarliest death in the movie. That was pretty gross.
Yeah, that was. I think you could see his teeth and everything. Like it was like, yeah, that was. I guess that was before when people were less touchy about things, you know.
Yeah,
So it's just like, hey, you could have a murdered dog in there, and yeah, I think people would. Uh, Horror fans, I think, are animal lovers in general. So people would.
yeah.
So I
Hmm.
think Kane Hodder was the one that's like, no dog, no animal deaths. Like Jason just wouldn't do that, and no
Yeah,
kids either. Like no little kids.
yeah. Although he did kill one at the beginning of this movie, that kid was pretty small, and his head
Which
was in the
kid?
fridge. That
That wasn't. That was the mom. That was the mom's head.
Oh, the mom's head? Oh, I thought it
Yeah.
was the kid's head. I couldn't tell. It wasn't a very good, it wasn't a very well sculpted head.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was. So yeah, that's something that doesn't make sense. So Jason carried his mom's head all the way
Oh, that was
to
his mom's head. His mom's
yeah,
head, not her mom. Okay. Yeah, that
and
didn't even
then
look like her.
yeah, and then but then he carried it, killed her, and then he carried it all the way back to his shrine in Crystal Lake.
I guess so.
Like it's like okay, that's
Weird.
yeah. So
Yeah,
overall,
so
what would you give this one?
I gave this one a 5. I think it's my least favorite of the first 5 anyway. Now,
Okay.
I have to rewatch the next, the after 5. I've watched the first 5, so of the first 5, this is my least favorite.
Okay. I would give it 6.5, I guess. Like
Yeah.
it is a bit better. It's well better executed than um, the first one. I don't like the part in the first movie where Jason pops out of the lake.
Hmm.
I know it's an iconic
Oh yeah.
moment in horror history. I just don't like I don't like those twist endings.
Yeah.
And then in the next movie, they're like they don't know how to explain that,
Yeah.
so they kind of do away with it. And same thing in this one. This one, the very end, you see Jason without the sack on his head. He just
Yeah.
looks like before man. He just like jumps through the window, and then it's like, oh, you'll freeze frame or whatever, and then it
Yeah.
cuts to them being taken away in an ambulance, and oh, there's no sign of that guy. So it's like, what
Yeah.
was the point of that putting in the movie just for a cheap shock?
Yeah, they just want to show his face. They do a
Yeah,
cheap shock with his face at the end of every movie, I think.
they should have just done that, like in the scene where Ginny like tricks him by pretending to be his mom. They should have
Yeah.
had him take it off then or something. But
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's just a minor criticism. But yeah, I think I would give it a 6.5.
That part was a strong part though. Like I'll give that part where she puts on the cable knit sweater, the stinky cable knit sweater, and she's talking to him like she's his mother. That part I thought was very effective. I wish that they had let it come to its fruition, where he gets closer and closer and closer to her, and she does get to stab him. He gets distracted at the last minute, and she gets moved to the side, and then he sees the head, and so it spoils everything. But I think it would have been good, even if it didn't kill him. Like even if that wasn't the thing that stopped him, it would. I think it would have had a good effect if he had got all the way there and then she had stabbed him, and then the illusion was broken.
Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, that would be a better way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of it felt like like a ripoff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then the boyfriend runs in, and there's yeah, it's like another.
I'll save you. Dur, 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 dur. Yeah.
All right, so
I have
so
to say
now
one more thing about this movie.
oh
Jason in this movie is played by Warrington Gillette. He was a one-timer. He only played Jason once. A lot of these guys in the early movies only played Jason once. But he's coming back in a movie called Shiver Slaying All Night. Shout out to Jeff DeCoteau, the director of that movie. Warrington Gillette is coming back to the screen. I don't know if he's playing the killer. Even I couldn't tell you if he was because it'd be a spoiler anyway. But he's coming back to the big screen. The guy who played Jason in the second movie.
oh cool. And
Yeah.
actually, another fun fact is that Friday the 13th Part Two takes is the only movie with where a female plays Jason at one point.
Oh,
Part in the very opening scene where Jason kills Alice from the first
yeah,
movie. All you see is the legs walking.
yeah.
Apparently, they didn't have an actor or anything, so they just had the female, it was like the makeup artist or one of the women from the set put on a pair of pants and got a
Oh,
shot of
that's
her
cool.
legs walking.
Yeah, I did not know that.
All
All
right, so
right.
that's it for that one. We'll be back with Friday the 13th Part 2 in our next video. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.